Good morning and welcome to the You're Certified Now What Technical Assistance Training Program webinar. We do apologize for the late start. We had a few technical difficulties. We thank you for your patience as we get started this morning. My name is Tiana McCall and I'm the Community Relations and Outreach Manager for the Office of Economic and Small Business Development. Please allow me to just review a few reminders with you regarding this morning's presentation. The presentation will be recorded and it will be available on our website at the end of the event. Additionally, it is currently being broadcast on our OESBD Twitter page, our OESBD Facebook page, as well as on the Broward County YouTube page. If you have questions throughout the presentation, please be sure to use the chat feature, and we will review your questions at the end during the Q&A segment, and we will get to as many questions as we can. As we prepare for the workshop to begin, I would also like to provide some information regarding upcoming events. So, if you will note, later on this month, on July 22nd, we will have a Doing Business with St. Lucia event that's coming up. And all of these events that I'm going to mention are available on our website for you to go and to sign up at your convenience. Next month, we have some great programming coming up as well. We will have our Surtax Information Session workshop on August 6th from 2 to 3:30 p.m. We will also be having a Surviving COVID-19 using tips and tricks, or success stories, if you will, for business in terms of how you can continue to navigate through these difficult and challenging times. That workshop will be on August 19th. From 10 to 11:30 a.m. You can also look forward to programming in September that will include a virtual business chat about COVID-19. Now, this conversation will discuss business challenges and solutions. It won't be a complaining session, but it will be an opportunity for businesses to come on, chat, share things that have worked for them, things that have not worked for them. Let us know how we can continue to service you and provide information and feedback, so as we develop programming and research resources to assist you, that we can make sure we're sharing that information with the community. It is certainly our goal to make sure that we are providing you resources and information to help you navigate through these challenging times. We will have a subsequent Surtax information session on September 16th. That one will be from 10 to 11:30 a.m. And we will lastly, but not least, for the month of September, be conducting a Doing Business with Broward in Spanish. So this will be an opportunity for us to share in Spanish the different opportunities in terms of working and contracting with Broward County and using the services that are available to you through the Office of Economic and Small Business Development. That event will be on September 24th from 10 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. And then we have our annual event that we do each year coming up in October, on October 1st, which will be our capital projects and contracting opportunities. That is our annual event that shares information from all of our agencies throughout the county with respect to upcoming capital projects. So you certainly don't want to miss that. That workshop will be from 2 to 4 p.m. And again, these workshops will be available for registration. Some of them are currently available, but they will all be available on our website coming up for you to register soon. At this time, I would like to introduce our director, Mr. Sandy Michael McDonald, to begin our workshop on You're Certified Now What. Thank you for joining us.
Good morning to you all, and welcome for joining us this morning at You're Certified Now What. And this is actually a workshop we started maybe 2 years ago. And about a year ago, certainly pre-COVID, we tried to put some substance to it, some more substance. So what I'm going to walk you through today, or what I'm going to walk you through this morning, is what we believe as a certified small business you need to know. So if you're on this call, or this Zoom, or this video, whatever it's called in this wonderful world today, if you're certified, this is real. If you're not certified yet, this certainly helps you to understand pre-getting certified, going through the process, some steps and commitments you need to make. So this then helps you recognize what you need to do after getting certified. And as I often say, certified is the beginning of the process. So for our program, real quick, I often remind folks that it's not something that we just thought of yesterday. Our office is centered on a vision and a mission as given to us by the County Commission, and we try to assure that our businesses, our small businesses specifically, and our residents who choose to be entrepreneurs in small business truly have an opportunity to participate in county procurement and county opportunities. We are a service agency of the county. We work side by side with procurement, our purchasing division, to assure whatever the county is looking to procure, there are small business opportunities made available. The Business Opportunity Act, it was amended in May 9th of 2018, and this is the act, this is the county's ordinance that allows our program to actually function. This is where we now work with the county, procurement, and all of its agencies to try to assure that at least 25% of what the county procures, we procure from small business. So understand that this is why the program is established. This is why we're actually set up, to make sure for the things the county buys, and I often have to say, the county buys a lot. We don't buy everything, but we buy a lot. But based on the things that we buy, the county looks to assure that at least 25% of what we buy, what we procure, we do from certified small businesses. And why is that important? It's important because as a small business, you need to understand and know 89% of the businesses in Broward County have 20 employees or less. So we are truly a small business community. This stat is actually on an alignment with our national numbers. So SBA looks at small businesses 1 to 500 employees. With that being considered, 89% of the businesses here in Broward County have 20 employees or less. So truly, it makes sense to the previous slide that the county tries to make sure at least 25% of what we buy from small businesses. And as a program, as we get ready to go into this certified now what, I often try to make this slide crystal clear with our small businesses. To be successful in government procurement, and this is something you can use not only with Broward, you can use it with cities, you can use it with states, but to be substantive, to be successful in government procurement, you need to thoroughly understand the program. I believe you must know and understand the process, and then you must find a way to engage the people that can help you support the process and the program. The reason why understanding the program is so important, we just told you the Business Opportunity Act of 2012, as recently amended in May of 2018, that gives you all the rules by which the county, my office, county agencies, and procurement operate. It tells you what the commission has approved and why they've approved it. It tells you about our small business program relevant to sheltered markets. Tells you about our small business program relevant to county business enterprise for reserves. It tells you about our small business program in terms of goal setting. It tells you when small businesses have a chance to just bid against each other and not against the big boys. Your job as a certified firm, now that you're certified, know the program. If you want to do an analogy with sports, this is the rules. Know the game you're playing. So as a small business, it's key to know the program. So we have a link to the Business Opportunity Act 2012 as last amended in May of 2018. Read that ordinance. Know what it means when my office calls and say we're looking at a sheltered market opportunity. Know what it means when my office calls and simply say we are looking at placing a goal on this project. Or we're calling to see if you can provide this service. We're looking at reserving it, CBE. First P, know the program. Process. If you really want to be about business, and whether that's private industry or whether it's government, you have to understand the process, the day-to-day, the initiatives, the activities, the way to navigate the program to benefit you. Some folks say, and in some of our information, we remind you that BitSync is our procurement portal. the county puts all of its bids on BidSync. BidSync is the official portal, the official notification of county bids. That's true. But as a certified firm, if you're waiting on BidSync to know about a bid, you're already late. So understanding the process means that we offer tips, we offer suggestions, we share information before the official information hits the street. And I want to be careful as I'm saying that. You can read our Business Assistance Weekly newsletter, and you can get a hot tip that our office, in conjunction with a county agency or with Surtax, with one of our cities, is looking to place a goal on a future project. The industries involved in this future project, we then list them, and we even oftentimes give you what the projected goal will be whenever that project hits the street. Folks, that happens 2 weeks, 3 weeks, sometimes a month to 6 weeks before the bid ever happens. Legitimately, above the board. We share this information because we need you to be aware that a bid is possibly coming that sounds like you if you're one of our small businesses. And what you need to know, who's the likely candidates that might bid if this is a goal, so you can be the small business that they work with. You want to know if it's Surtax, which of the cities are looking to do this so that you can be clear about their procurement process. If it's county agency again, you want to know, has the county procured this good or service previously? And if so, who won it? And if so, what small businesses participate? Folks, this is process. The more information you can have early helps you to put yourself and your business in a better decision to compete. And I have to say that as a part of the process. Folks, is to compete. I'm sorry, there is no freebies. Here's that commercial on our program. Our program, based on the Business Opportunity Act 2012 as amended in May of 2018, is to assure that at least 25% of what the county procures, and we look at project by project, we procure with certified small businesses. Folks, to be honest, I'm looking for certified small businesses to be on county contracts. I'm not looking for your business to be on county contracts. I'm looking for certified small businesses. I have a directory of over 700 certified small businesses. I'm looking for certified small businesses to be on county contracts. But you as a vendor, you as a small business, you as a certified small business, you should be looking for you to be on county contracts. We require primes when we set goals to identify small businesses. As long as they identify certified small businesses, my office is good. We check the box. Your job is to get as much information as possible on the front end so you can potentially be one of those small businesses. So process is key in terms of understanding the program. Now, process is understanding how to navigate the program so that you can get as much information as possible to go after the bid, whether it's a direct bid with the county or whether it's to be a prime subcontractor. Process is key, and we don't leave you hanging. Process is something you can always talk to our office about. That's what a lot of our virtual workshops are about. That's what our, before the virtual days, our meet and greets were all about. That's what our newsletter is all about. How can I give you as much information as possible? Yes, for you to do your homework and find ways to engage that prime, find ways to learn more about that project, find ways to engage that county procurement so when the bid does come, you're ahead of the game. And after process, the third P is about people. Our office is the beginning of you as a small business meeting and knowing and developing the relationship with the right people. We're also an advocacy office. We're the office responsible for assuring that small businesses not only participate, but have fair, equitable opportunities to participate, and that small businesses meet the criteria and the obligations of the program. So you want to know my office. On the economic development side, in case you're looking for access to resources and other ways to grow your business. On the small business side, in terms of having that direct communication when my office emails you, when my office calls you and tell you about those certified or those sheltered market opportunities, when we call and tell you about those reserve opportunities, when we call and tell you about we're getting ready to set this goal, does this sound like something you can do? You start your people relationship with us. And yes, even during this period of COVID and this day and age of what we're now in, which is virtual workshops, we're also going to be making sure you still have an opportunity for the people perspective to meet prime contractors, to make sure you can meet the folks who have committed to the county that they're going to use small business so that you can find a way to pitch your opportunity to be one of those small businesses. Again, be clear. Primes are required to use my small businesses. That's all I require. It's your job for real to find ways to make sure that Prime or the county specifically has an opportunity to use you. So people goes far beyond my office. People is also inclusive of the prime contractors and the county agencies, but people is also inclusive of your other fellow small businesses. Sometimes you might need to look at joint ventures, not forever, just for a specific project. Sometimes you might need to look at a reserve that I can do 70% of this work. I need to go ahead and get 30% done by one or two other CBEs. People also mean the fact that when we're doing even the virtual workshops, you want to pay attention to who's in the room, because there's a good chance other businesses could use your service, and there's a good chance that you can use the services of other businesses. So people in the government procurement is no different than people in networking in private industry. You have to show yourselves worthy and favorable. You have to be able to demonstrate as well as attract opportunities from the county, from prime contractors, and yes, from your peers. Broward County needs you. We need you because roughly 669, less than 700 small businesses are currently certified. So everything we do this year and next year is about get certified. Get certified is the key. We still have space. We're talking about this number today because this is a get certified, but this is really certified now what? You should know who in your industry is certified, because again, they're not always competition. Sometimes they can be your complement and your ally. You need to clearly understand in our small business directory who's there, because sometimes you could also use them or need them. Question for you. What is your expectation now that you're certified? See, and this is something that's rhetorical today. I mean, you know, we are taking questions and answers in the chat room based on what we're doing, but this is really about you. What's your expectation? You know, I got here 7 years ago. I've been here 7 years with this program, and I've had some businesses that I'm now asking our certification office. When folks come in for their annual renewal, we're going to renew you. That's the process. That's in the ordinance. But I got to ask them more questions. How's it going? What's up with you and your NACE code, your North American Industry Code? You know, are you bidding? Are you engaging the process? When's the last time you've been a part of an LOI? And if not, you need to be working with my office. What's your expectation now that you're certified? Are you certified and you're sitting there with your arms folded, hoping a bid will come? Are you certified and you had this expectation where the county got to give me something? Are you certified and you're just sitting there hoping that at the end of the day, it's going to be a knock at the door? All of that's just wrong. Once certified, that means you've already made the commitment to say, I want to be in the game. We're here now to try to help you engage the game. You have to decide that beyond the commitment to get certified, you actually want business. I'm hoping you only got certified because you want business and you want to make money. You're not making money, my program's not successful. County got an ordinance, at least 25% need to be spent with certified small businesses. You need to make sure you are a part of that. So what is your expectation now that you're certified? Expectations, that's what it ought to lead to. And I'm not always about the money, but I am. You chose to be a business. I have no idea why many of you went into business. I don't know if you inherited from your grandfather, your father, your uncle, your brother. I don't know if someone told you that you were the best baker, so go bake some. I have no idea. But if you took the time to get certified with Broward County, I'm hoping the expectation was you're willing to put in the additional work so that you can get county contracts, so that you can make money, so that you can grow your business. I'm hoping that was your true expectation. And the reality is, help. The reality is that we are here to provide that help. The reality is you have to do your part to come get that help. So the expectation is one thing, and I hope it's real. You get to decide on your own after this workshop, what is my expectation now that I'm certified? And if it's really about being committed, if it's really about taking the necessary steps to grow your business, then understand help is available. And it's up to you to come and meet us halfway. Know your ABCs and 1, 2, 3s. Know your certification type, check your NIGP codes, renew on time. These are just things that's a part of the process now that you're certified. These are things that will come to you from time to time, but a good business at all times, make sure that there's accessible, factual, up-to-date information on their business available. And no, you don't want to take forever to renew with us. You want to make sure that your information stays in our directory timely. But again, these are just the basics to now that you're certified, things I need to do. And yes, you want to check your codes and check on BitSync. I already mentioned that's the protocol, or that's the portal for all small businesses. But again, you want to be in touch with our office, like our Business Assistance Weekly. You want to be getting that newsletter way before you trying to sit at home and wait for that ding on your computer to tell you about an upcoming bid. So this slide is just to let you know there are ongoing things that you need to be aware of now that you're certified. Make BidSync a habit. We say that because, again, the official portal, the official notification for all county procurement is BidSync. So you want, with one of my small business specialists, to learn as much as you can about BidSync. You want to schedule a time. You're a small business. We know you don't have 20 or 30 employees. You're busy. But you have to schedule some time to check out those notifications. We try to give you tips in our weekly newsletter. And again, we know you're busy. But another part of engaging the process, another part in being successful with bids, is creating the time to work on your business just as much as you work in your business. Many of you are good and skilled at your craft, but you have to go out here and work on your business, growing your business in order to continue being successful in your business. So here's the thing that we want to make sure that you know about BidSync as a habit. And yes, I'm sorry. Again, no freebies. This is about research, research, research. Use our information, use our newsletter, use our communications and contacts, understand the program so that you can put yourself in the best position to win county contracts or to be a sub when primes have to use small businesses. Network. So whether the county is doing pre-bid meetings, whether we're doing meet and greets, even virtual, or whether it's the idea that you take our directory, you shrink our directory, you look at NAICS codes, American Industry Codes that's relevant to what you do, you create relationships with other small businesses, and you go after business. You want to stay engaged as a part of the process. And there's multiple ways that don't cost you money, certainly cost you time, for you to network. And folks, and in this new virtual, and this is where we are. What we're probably going to be doing with the county, procurement, county primes, and county agencies. This is probably what we're going to do between now and the end of the calendar year, bare minimum. So we're going to make sure through our newsletter you have all of this information. You know every project that's still going to hit the street. You have a chance to try to meet the prime contractors or future prime contractors. We're going to keep you engaged and involved. It's going to be kind of different because we're going to be doing it virtual more than we're doing it face-to-face. So you're going to have to do a little bit more homework. But if we are, at least as another analogy, setting the table, it's up to you to come eat. And our job, my office job, the county agency's job, and us working with these primes is to set that table. So networking and keeping informed, getting information from our office is key to the aspect of networking and preparing you to be considered by a prime or to go directly after one of these county contracts. Stay engaged. What is your communication pattern with us? We will be calling you about SBE sheltered markets. We'll be calling you and emailing you about CBE reserves. We'll be sending our newsletters out being real clear about what the future opportunities are. And again, these are just some of the repeated steps that we said earlier. Yes, you must check your email. Yes, you must get back with my staff. Yes, you need to respond to our surveys. Getting information from you helps us to decide what workshops we need to do, what is it that we might be doing wrong, what is it that you want to see more of. And yes, as a business, and again, we know you're busy, your job is to be out here doing your craft and making money. But you must attend some, and I'm putting a big emphasis under that some. You must attend some of our outreach workshops. It's the only way you're going to get that information and you begin to cultivate those relationships. Again, I say some because the other side of that coin, some of you before COVID, you attend every workshop I do. I'm not a supporter or fan of seeing you, to be honest, at every single workshop. You need to strategically decide which workshops, which informational sessions are best for you, because you want to take information and allow yourself to use it to grow your business, to be successful in county contracts. There's no brownie points for attending every single one of our workshops, but there is substance in attending the workshops that you believe benefit you, and there's reality if you can align the information you gain, you garner, use it to help you win contracts. That's what it needs to be about. Yes, I want you to attend our workshops, our virtual workshops, our information sessions, but I want you to pick those that are substantive to you, but I need you then to apply what you're learning to put you in a better position to be competitive. You will never hear me say I can guarantee you'll win anything, because I can't. I'm not purchasing. I don't even know if purchasing can guarantee you're going to win, but I can assure you the information we share, the advanced information we share, the connect-the dot relative information we share should help you put in better bids, should help you align and create better relationships with primes, and I should see some of your names as a part of contracts cross my desk. So we want you to stay engaged. So find ways to understand our program. I know Ms. McCall at the beginning even told you about our calendar. Find ways to stay engaged. And no, there is no expectancy. You're too busy that you attend every single thing we do. But you must select those that you believe will benefit you. So here's some of the substance to certified now what? If you was in a room with me, I'd say, raise your hand if you understand what a capability statement is. But since you're not in the room, I'll still say it, and you can raise your hand, whoever's sitting next to you. But the reality is, in business, especially working with prime contractors who win major contracts with the county, even in this virtual world of us introducing you to these prime contractors, one of the best documents, one of the best tools you can have after being given a chance to get that 90-second or that 3-minute pitch is a capability statement. Someone wants to know who you are. Someone wants to be able to verify and vet what you may have just said. Someone wants to be able to follow up succinctly and to the point to who you are and what you say you do. Folks, that's a capability statement. And we encourage our small businesses far more than that cute little business card. We encourage our businesses to understand the details and to create professional capability statements. Purpose: open doors and makes introductions, may be required as a part of a proposal response. It's a great marketing tool, exhibits a sense of credibility and trust. When we get ready in some of these future slides to tell you the details of a capability statement, in case you don't know, you will then begin to understand why that document speaks for you when you're not in the room. That document speaks for you far more than a business card. And even if you're fortunate enough, and I do encourage all businesses in this day and age to have a website, please have a website. A capability statement as your stamp, one of your first pages of your website, is the best thing that you can do. Tips. Capability statements, as mentioned, they're brief, succinct, and to the point. 1 to 2 pages. If it was a physical one, hopefully it's a nice little placard front and back. Visually appealing and aligns with your brand. Yes. Even if I'm a carpenter, even if I'm an electrical, even if I'm a consultant, I should have a brand. There should be something that acknowledges and recognizes me consistently with everything I do. Easily editable for you. The idea is that you have to have it in a manner that as it needs to be updated, you can edit it. If there's something that needs to be added, you can add it. Don't want to be all costing you a lot of extra money, but it needs to be in a position that you can have that easy access to editing and searchable for your audience. You're going to have the right information on this capability statement that it is searchable. If someone was looking to know if you were a CBE, that needs to be on there. If someone wanted to know your North American industry codes, that needs to be on there. If someone wanted to know, I'm looking for someone who's done business in this kind of an arena before in terms of a setting, that's going to be on there. Those are tips to good quality, succinct capability statements. Here's an example of a capability statement with some of the fillers. And yes, you can make your own decision on this branding side, but it is helpful to have that photo of yourself, of your company, or something that attracts the reader to aligning this information that's in writing to the person or the business. So I do encourage that. But on other pages, other slides, we're going to get into those details. But that's just the look of a capability statement. And again, even this one, I would say, is on the side of extremely busy, but at the end of the day, the devil is in the detail. Is it legible? Is it viewable? Can it easily be read? Can someone identify the specifics of what they're looking for from your statement? Those are quality points to a capability statement. Key elements, title. What's your core competencies? What do you do? Past performance, references are good, or information that identifies major projects that someone you're speaking with will be familiar with. Differentiators. What makes you different or unique to your competitors? And if one thing, I'm going to stop there, that I often tell businesses, there's 2 rules for every business, I don't care your industry. You have to know your industry if you're in business. You have to know what you do. You have to know exactly who your competitors are. You have to know what they do. You have to know what it is that you do that they don't do. You have to know what it is that you do better than what they do. You have to know your industry if you say you are in business. And the second thing for all businesses, you have to know your target market. Who is in need of that service, good, material, or product that you provide? Who is in need and is willing to pay for that good, material, service, or product that you provide? You have to know your industry in and out, and that includes your competitors. And you have to know your target market in terms of who wants you. So that's another part of the key elements to a capability statement for who will be reading it, and more importantly, what it is you want them to see when they're reading. And yes, you got to give your company's info. A major key element is to make sure that they know how to reach you and your company. Title. That's the capability statement. Contact info. Make sure it's correct. Logo also leads to the branding. If you don't have a logo, you might want to think about getting one. But the main thing is, for a capability statement, who it is that you are. What is it that you do? What's the expertise that you bring to the table? Your contact information, you need to always make sure that is up to date. The worst thing that can happen is someone reads a capability statement, they read the information, they get intrigued, they have interest, and then they call a number that's changed, or they send an email and it comes back undeliverable. And then, of course, the logo is the idea that you're now on the branding side, you're now trying to put the familiarity into everything you do. So in case you're one of those contractors and you're about your growth, you know you didn't pass out this capability statement a few times, and this prime contractor now is driving by a work site, and he potentially remembers you because he sees this logo on this construction site, and he remembers seeing that logo on this capability statement. So he would be able to connect the dots. May know your logo before he knows your business name or your personal name. So if you have a logo, please use your logo. Core competencies of a capability statement. Target audience. Yes, you have to know who is your target audience for reviewing and receiving this information. Your area of expertise. I talked about that earlier. You have to be able to speak to that which you know. Short intro statement. Mention your target or define a problem. The ideal of a short intro statement for a capability statement is keeping in mind, number one, your target audience, who you're speaking to. You're now showing them your area of expertise, and you're mentioning to them how you or what you do or what you provide can be the solution to what their problem is. Core competencies as they relate to your target specific need or your solution. That was my last point. If I understand my target audience, who will be reading my capability statement, who I want to read my capability statement. If I know my area of expertise and I make sure it's clear that the person seeking me out know exactly what it is that I provide and I provide well. If in this short statement I'm defining what the problem is, which is a part of who I am in business, and then I'm giving you my core competencies, explaining who I am and what I do. I'm talking about my target audience. And yes, what I bring to the table, I bring that solution you're looking for. There's one of my staff's example in terms of us. OESBD provides business development programs and services to small businesses that will help them to meet their goals of growing and sustaining themselves in Broward County and beyond. So if my audience is small businesses trying to figure out what we do, I just got through saying that we provide business development programs and services. If someone wanted to understand the problem, it was the ideal of assuring that these businesses can participate in procurement. And if someone wanted to know the target specifics that will help them meet their goals of growing and sustaining themselves in Broward County. That's who we are. That could be one of our core competencies, or it could be our short intro statement to what we do. That's how you want to look at creating your competency statement. Past performance is always key. It's always key because most folks talk to you about name dropping. No, you want to name drop. If you have referrals, if you've worked on major projects, if your good service, product, or material has been identified or recognized by national organizations, business organizations, trade organizations, you want to share information that lets folks begin to understand your credibility. This adds to that piece that we talked about in terms of expertise. You want to describe past performances if possible. And again, as a small business, this is another part of your growth when we said make sure you're creating a document that can easily be edited. This is the idea that your original capability statement might only have 2 or 3 past performances. 3 years from now, or 3 years down the road, it may be available, or you might have access, or you might have experiences where you need to list 6 or 7. 8 years down the road, we know you can list a dozen or more. But that's when at the end of the day, you're not getting ready to create a capability statement and list 15 past performances. You're going to find those top 5. You're going to find those most recognizable and substantive top 5 and list them. So understand, it expands as you grow and go. And yes, you always want to put your best foot forward. So you want to shine when you're creating this capability statement in terms of putting your past performances. This is the key again that we talked about earlier. You want to be able to demonstrate your difference. What's unique? What's your niche? You want to be able to show that you're a problem solver if you're a problem solver. But again, this also goes to knowing your industry, knowing everyone in your industry. You don't have to speak against someone in your industry. But the best way to demonstrate your capacity, your ability, your expertise is to compare what you do to what others in your industry do. So I do need to know what my competitor does. My competitor makes this widget, and this widget at its best has 13 components. My competitor has a good 8. The top 2% of my competition has 10 of those 13. If I got 11 or 12, I need to say that. See, I don't have to talk about them, but I have to be able to demonstrate in this area of expertise, there's 13 categories. My competitors by name have 8 or have 10. My business happens to have 11. You have to be able to differentiate yourself from your competitors. So that means as a business, you actually do need to know what your competitors do. But let me be real clear about this section of your capability statement. Don't write it if it can't be validated. You want to back up. You don't want someone having to go search. You want to say what you mean, and then you want to be able to back that up with a reference. So as a part of this component, make sure that you can back up what you say. These are the things that are important to your client base, to those who are considering you. If you say you're different, you have to be able to demonstrate you're different and demonstrate where you've demonstrated that you're different. Company info, again, facilities or office locations, size of firms and revenues, contact information, basic information, but it's not basic information that you should overlook. You know, folks want to understand the capacity and the size of the firm. And it's not a knock that you're a small firm. If you're a small firm, say that you're a small firm because, again, when I'm able to align the fact that you're a small firm with the fact that you've also had these references for these major projects, it demonstrates that you do know your business. And no matter what the size, you can get it done. But folks also like to know who they're working with. So they want to know your revenue capabilities. Of course, they're going to want to know your bonding and insurance capabilities, the geographics of your areas you serve. So this is vital information when I'm considering a project, because you got to remember, this is about the viewing audience, your target audience, your prospective contractor who's reading this to see if you are a fit for what it is they're doing. And again, we can't discount the fact that your contact information needs to be up to date and always accurate. As often as possible, you want to review it, you want to check it. If you got a website, you want to go on and make sure that it's working and the site's not down. Make sure you got accurate and accessible information when you're putting your company info up regarding your capability statement. And company info, you know, if you're dealing with those federal contracts, certainly we're talking about your DUNS, your Ks. Us, we're talking about your NAICS codes and your North American industry codes and your procurement codes, which is your NIGP. Yes, for my small businesses, based on doing business in South Florida and some who participate in the federal program, you want to display whatever your certifications, inclusive of your socioeconomic status. Are you a part of a hub zone? Are you a woman-owned small business? Are you a service-disabled veteran-owned business? You want to be proud of whatever those statuses is that you've chosen to get certified in. And in addition to those socioeconomic statuses, you want to get whatever certifications you actually have, you want those listed. We know the advantage of listing those on your capability statement is because my prime contractors are looking for certified firms. And based on the contract, they're looking for that SBE, that CBE, that DBE, or that ACDBE. That's my county, local, and federal program. So if you're going to do a capability statement and you got those certifications, 1, 3, or all, you need to put that as a part of your company information. And then, yes, business is business. You need to let them know how you receive your payments. You want to make sure that they understand that via technology, you're accessible to getting wire transfer. You're accessible to credit card payments. I mean, whatever the scenario is, the more information you can give while still being succinct, the more information you can give helps folks to understand that not only are you accessible, but let's be real about this entire framework of a capability statement. It also is one of your first identifiers that you're a reputable business. See, it's not a game where I can stick a whole bunch of stuff down, because the reality is whatever you stick is going to be vetted. So if you can really put it into a capability statement, if you can make it succinct, it's one of the first things that allow this contractor that's looking to do business with you to know that you are about your business. And yes, folks, I don't know what your mom or your grandma taught you, But this is when I need you to pat yourself on the back. You need to scream as a part of your capability statement, this company's info. Any awards or accolades that you've received. It lends to your credibility. If you have been acknowledged, as I said earlier, by your business organization, by a trade organization, or by the county or anyone you've done a contract with, succinctly, if you can list those, you want to do so. Because again, everything you do relevant to a capability statement speaks about you. Where will I use this? In this day and age, every chance you get. It needs to be a part of your website. Again, you get to use it when we do these virtual upcoming meet and greets. You get to use it when we're doing our matchmaking sessions coming up down the road. These should be, and again, you definitely, I'm going to repeat it again, need to be on your website. You should be using it as a part of your social media platforms and your activities when you're submitting documentation, especially to the county. For these RFIs and RFPs, there's a chance to tell about who you are and what you've done. You ought to make sure that attached to any proposals you do is your capability statement as well. Here's some resources. And again, we'll work with Ms. McCall, but this entire presentation will be made available on the county's website, on our website, so you have access to it. But these are just some resources that's available that can also help you through the technical assistance side of creating a quality capability statement. And again, our office and this presentation can also be used as a part of that. But here's some other organizations, some of our partnering organizations that also has resources and examples of where you can find some capability statements. So we talked earlier, but now we're getting ready to get into the certified now what, and I want to get to some more of the meat of what your opportunities are. So now that you're certified, you really need to be a part of the program, understand that Business Opportunity Act. Please understand what our sheltered market program is. Please understand what it means when we reach out to you for sheltered market reserve opportunities. That's when the county's procuring something $250,000 or less. That's the ideal of making sure that our small can compete with themselves and not the big boys. So you want to understand the ideal of conducting surveys to identify availability of certified small businesses. That's what we do. You want to understand that when we are looking at a sheltered market or an SBE opportunity, our office is going to call you, email you, or both if you are part of the SBE program. So you want to stay in touch with us, but you want to understand when you hear that buzzword, when someone emails you or calls you about a sheltered market opportunity, when someone's talking about SBE reserve, you want to know, wait a minute, he's calling me because this is a chance that if they have enough small businesses, the small bid against the small, not the big boys. So understand that when it comes to the reserve. Here's some projects recently recommended for sheltered market. Keep in mind, sheltered market is all of the county's projects that are one-time hitters for $250,000 or less. Now, we're going to be having a workshop coming up down the road, and that workshop is going to talk about some of the nuances and changes in our sheltered market program. There's a new twist on projects $100,000 and less. Still falls up under the sheltered market, $250,000 or less, but we're going to be working more with our county agency buyers. But this is just to show you some examples that when these things cross our desk, we're going to our SBE directory, and by ordinance, we're trying to see if I have at least two. The ordinance says at least two. So I'm be honest with you. I'm looking for four. I'm looking for four because if I got two and one forget to bid, then it's not a sheltered market opportunity. If I look for four and one or two forget to bid, I still at least got two. But understand when we have at least two firms who can meet the goods, services, and requirements of a sheltered market bid, we get to reserve it. So these are just some examples of things that we reserved recently. You have to look at it as an opportunity or an obstacle. This slide is here because these things happen for real. I'm not even going to read those details, but I'm going to give you a good example of our challenge. Our challenge, which is your opportunity or obstacle, is that my staff will actually email you or call you or both when we have a sheltered market opportunity. You then, as the one being contacted, will tell us based on the information we share. Yes, Broward County small business, I'm interested. I can provide that service. I can only sign off on reserving it if 2 or more of you say, yes, I can. But I have real live examples when 2 or more. Sometimes 5 or 6 of you respond and say, yes, I can. So then we reserve it. We tell purchasing and the user agency, that's a sheltered market reserve, is set up for our little guys. Put it on the street. Folks, guess what happens sometime? Before I get to that, the user agency and purchasing puts it on the street. When it goes on the street, my office, my small business specialist, is going to contact you again. And they're going to say, hey, remember that bid that I asked you about to see if you was interested? You told me you were interested. This was about 3 weeks ago. Well, I want to let you know that bid just came out. Yep, we know you ought to pay attention to BidSync. Yep, we know you ought to pay attention to my newsletters. But for these sheltered market opportunities, my office is still going to contact you. But guess what? Even after that contact, my office will then contact you a week before it's due and ask you, hey, remember that opportunity we talked about? Remember I contacted you and let you know it was on the street? Just want to remind you that bid is due next Tuesday. Don't forget. We're doing that next step. Folks, we're doing this because a sheltered market reserve is an opportunity for one of our small businesses to definitely win, not a big boy. Our small businesses are going to compete against each other. One of you are definitely going to win, so I don't want it to fall through the cracks. But even after all of that, the bids come back. We got live examples. If this was 4 or 5 as responders, none responded. Believe it or not, none responded. About 3 years ago, when that was happening, I told staff, it's unacceptable. I need you to start calling people back and asking them why. Why did you not respond? Folks, this is what I mean about real opportunity. Opportunities are obstacles. You need to understand when you get that email or when you get that phone call and someone's talking about reserve, it's you competing against other SBEs. You want to make sure you're about your business. And you don't mind. You hope the others forget. But you want to be about your business. So we wanted to make sure that this example was here because either it's an opportunity or it's an obstacle. And I think you ought to look at it as a real opportunity. Understand CBE reserve. Just talked about sheltered market. But also know when the county small business office, when our office gets a request for gold, and if I have 2 or more firms who can provide all the services that's needed in that request, I don't have to set that at least 25% gold, 30 or 40. I don't have to. I can decide that, wow, this is a $3 million, $4 million, $5 million contract. And wow, I got 5 or 6 small businesses who can meet the CBE reserve requirement. That means my 5 or 6 small businesses can either do all the work or they can do enough of the work that they can do 70 or 80%, and the other remaining 20 or 30%, they can give to other CBEs. You need to understand, once again, the program, you need to understand when we say CBE reserve, that's your chance for CBE now to be a prime. That's not to take a big boy and do a 25% goal. That's us saying, hey, we believe there's enough of you who can do this work. So we're telling purchasing and the user agency, I'm not going to put a 25% goal on this $5 million project. I'm going to reserve this $5 million project for CBEs only. I want a CBE to say, Mr. McDonald, I can do that whole job. Or Mr. McDonald, I can do 70% of that job and I'll give 30% to 2 other CBEs so that all of it's done by CBEs. Or Mr. McDonald, I can do 80% and I'll give the other 20% to 1 CBE. So the whole job has to be done by CBEs. So understand, similar to the last slide, obstacle or opportunity, when we tell you CBE reserve, it's because we believe we have enough CBEs who can do the entire job. This is for a CBE now to be the prime and do it all, or be the prime and have other CBEs work up under them. So know when we contact you about CBE reserve, this is what we mean. The other part about the CBE reserve, the key thing is I can't delay procurement. What do I mean? Similar to that SBE sheltered market opportunity, I ask you, can you do it? You say, yep. I remind you it's on the street. I remind you it's due. When the bids come in, you forget. The county can't continue to repeat a procurement process. So though I schedule something CBE reserve, the intent is the first, second, third, fourth opportunity is about my CBEs. But if you don't respond to the bid, or if their CBEs that do respond are not found to be responsive and responsible, the county's not getting ready to waste another 30 days to 90 days and go back out for bid. The ordinance allows purchasing to now award this to a non-CBE. I still get some love because I get to put a 25% goal on. But think what just happened. I'm always going to fight for CBEs. So in a CBE reserve, the fight is to make sure a CBE gets it all, or multiple CBEs gets it all. But even if my CBEs are not responsible, or if my CBEs unfortunately forget to bid at all, the county has a right to receive bids at the same time from non-CBEs. And if none of my CBEs come through, they got a right to award it to a non-CBE, but the non-CBE still got to commit to at least my 25%. So I'm still going to make sure small businesses participate, but to be open, I would prefer my CBE or a group of CBEs to get 100% of $5 million that I reserved instead of 25% of $5 million. Obstacle or opportunity, here we go again. You need to understand CBE reserve when we put that out there. Folks, this is another part of I'm certified now what? Understand your program. Understand the CBE, the SBE, the reserves, and the sheltered market. Understand your communication with our office. That's the key of being successful and engaging in county procurement. Understanding the program, then knowing how to navigate the process. Goals and procurement preference, at the end of the day, yeah, we always get to do the at least 25%, and even the commission agreed about a year or so ago that, hey, sometimes I look in a directory and I don't have enough businesses to set a goal. They allow me to work with purchasing to take another 30 days and to go try to find some small businesses. That's how committed your commission is. They don't mind if we delay a procurement process, people not happy, but they'll give me up to 30 days to go try to find some businesses who would qualify to be a part of that pool so I can set a goal. We're always trying to set goals on eligible projects. You don't want bids to leave this county that could have small business participation. Goal and procurement preference, we also got it in there that at the end of the day, don't want to be punitive. I can only set goals when it's 2 or more. So let's say I got a small business and it's only 1. Well, the county commission also decided back in 2018 that let's not penalize that 1. You can't set a goal, but let's make sure when the county's procurement reviews that bid, if that single CBE participates, give him or her that 10% local bidder's preference. If it's an RFP, based on the final scoring, give them within 5% the opportunity closest to the highest ranked. The bottom line here is that even when I only have 1 firm and I can't set a goal because I need 2 or more to set the goals, we still have an opportunity where the 1, they now might need to compete with the non-CBEs, but in doing so, you get a 10% local preference, small business preference actually. So this is also something in the ordinance that still tries to assure, even when I can't set a goal, there is a small business procurement preference. So again, that's key to understanding that if it's just you, still go after the bid. Goal request process, you probably can't see that screen. The reason why we want this up here is because at the end of the day, when we mention process, folks, you need to understand. User agencies send us shelter market request forms to look at everything 250,000 or less, and we go through a process. We notify you, as I said earlier, phone or email or both. We go through that to decide if we're going to create a sheltered market and put it on the street. Same thing happens if a user agency is looking to procure a good material and service over 250,000. We have a process that we get a goal request for. We work with that agency, and based on working with that agency, we then set that goal, at least 25%. Based on setting that goal, or to set that goal, we check our directory. We sometimes notify you. We want to be sure that we have businesses who can meet the requirements that we just received from that user agency. So I just want you to know that there's a process that we go through, but you, as a small business, through our office, is a part of that process. This goes back to the process that we said with the 3 Ps earlier. You have to stay engaged with us. You have to know what it is to keep your information updated in the directory. You have to know what it is when you get those emails or those phone calls or both from our office. Here's some current projects with CBE goals. And we're only putting these out here because, again, if a project is eligible, we are looking to do that at least 25. And when I really do have enough small businesses, we're also looking to do that reserve opportunity. Again, the county has these activities. We're doing this certified now what? Because we do have a new group of folks over the last 90 days, including COVID, who just recently got certified. And even with this COVID, I don't want you sitting trying to figure out how you get involved in county procurement. I need you involved in county procurement as a small business. So here we are. Here are some projects that even with the COVID, even with the slowdown in some activity, are still underway. We still have $1 billion of what's going to be port activity. We still have over $1 billion in what's going to be the convention center activity. We're slowing right now on the new hotel. It's still going to happen, but I still got a $250 million of activity between now and the end of next year of construction and goals that have to be set on existing opportunities as we expand the convention center. Pay attention to your newsletter. We got a meet and greet coming up pretty soon on the next steps for more subs to participate on that convention center expansion. And yes, the airport. Air traffic has been slow. We understand that across the country, but this is also a good time to get some more of the construction done on the next set of the master plans, which is over $3 billion over the next 10 years. So you can expect coming out of this calendar year, beginning next year, even construction activities at the airport. And yes, over the last 2 years, the county has procured over $1 billion in goods, materials, and services. Out of all the services and the county activity, over the last couple of years, we've procured over $1 billion. So again, the county is still buying right now. Matter of fact, for all of you pivoting vendors who are into the PPE and the other activities, we just submitted anything you've sent to me since COVID has started, a new list of purchasing, because they just requested from me last week, some local CBEs who are providing any of the PPE, as well as small businesses in the area who are providing that, because we're now going to be procuring some of that ourselves, and we wanted a new list. And we wanted that list to start with our small businesses. These are just some examples that, folks, our projects are still live and are still going to be underway. So, certified now what? It's time to get engaged. Penny for transportation is the idea that you heard about the penny surtax. At the end of the day, we were collecting about $355 million a year, every year for the next 30 years. Yes, we know sales tax. So sales tax is going to be down this year due to COVID. So we probably won't have a reporting of $355 million next year, but folks, we still gonna have $150 to $200 million easy. What you need to be clear about is 30% of that for eligible projects is being reserved for small business. We just got through announcing a set of projects that are now getting ready to go on the street between the county and the cities this fall and by the end of the year. So you need to understand everything we're talking about from program to process, and now people includes the other cities. They're real right now when it comes to the penny for transportation. Again, 30%, that's roughly about $56 million a year that we'd have been looking at for small business. This is going to take place over the next 30 years. And again, even if some of the collection is low, the bottom line is there's a reserve opportunity. There's a committed opportunity. I didn't mean to say reserve. There's a committed opportunity for small business participation on eligible contracts, and that's at 30%. So yes, the cities who are participating in surtax, the funds they use for the projects that they get approved, 30% of those funds also have to be with certified small businesses in the county directory. So certified now what? That means understand what the county's doing relevant to surtax. Certified now what? It means understand what the cities who are participating in Surtax is also doing. Engage. Stay engaged with our office. Stay engaged with me through email, through call. The county has all of the social platforms, not all. We got the Twitter, we got the Facebook. So we want you to stay engaged with us. Stay engaged with our email, econdevinfo@broward.org. Make sure you get on our subscribers list so you get that newsletter I've been speaking about every Wednesday about 6:15. That newsletter comes out. And again, this newsletter is where you can get those tips and just general information about the small business program, things we're doing, and what you can look forward to. So with that, I want to thank you for being with us this morning. I've been approximately 1 hour. I think I started about 10:10 or 10:15. It's now 11:10. And I know Miss McCall was entertaining questions, so I'm going to check with her to see if she has any questions, and I'm going to answer some of your questions. And again, I often say, no matter how long we do presentations, 30 minutes, 90 minutes, 2 hours, even when we do the Q&A, beyond that, it's your job to stay in touch with our office, make a call, send an email. Folks, we will follow up your calls, your emails, and your questions. But right now, we will take some time on this Certified Now What and try to entertain and answer some of your questions. Ms. McCall.
Thank you, Mr. McDonald. And there were a few questions and comments that were going back and forth that we have addressed, but we do have two for you. One from Tangi at Creative Dev Software. Can you please explain more about how JVs will work? Would both small businesses have to be certified?
So, to advantage the program and ideal of joint venture, a joint venture needs to take place when it best suits the small business. I need to be clear about that. That's why I said earlier, I don't want you joint venturing forever. But if you saw a business opportunity where it made sense for you to team with someone else, do so. Now, the specifics of your question, does that joint venture have to be with 2 certified firms? The answer is no. At the end of the day, you might see a project, and this is about understanding the project, that simply says it has a goal of 30%. And based on the service or the good, 30% must be by a certified firm. You might be that certified firm and you're like, oh my goodness, that 30% is exactly what I do. But I don't do this other stuff. So I could either try to be someone's subcontractor, which is what the program is, or I could have a friend, a colleague who I know does this. And I can say, you and I need to do a joint venture because I have something to bring to the table far more than just that 30% goal. See, you could be the one with this joint venture leading this process. So yes, you can go grab someone else and do a joint venture. You can carve out, because as a part of the small business, 70% of all this for you, and you are inclusive of the 30% of the small business goal. And you can go get a business that you know meets those other criterias and marry yourself. Sometime the joint venture, as we did recently last year when it came to the janitorial opportunity at the airport for the rent-a-car center, we told some small businesses it might be best based on the size of that project that you 2 CBEs just do a joint venture agreement for that project only, not to forever, ever in life. You can do that if you choose, but just simply come together as a joint venture to go after that project. So if it's relevant to a county goal, always keep in mind, if there's a portion of the skill set that's you can just fulfill it by being someone's subcontractor. If you believe the project has a chance to enhance you and a non-CBE, yes, you can joint venture with them in that regard. Also understand, on larger county projects, you do have firms often coming in who want to try to get some local preference by using the CBE small business firm to do a joint venture. That's why I always encourage all my small businesses, be careful and be smart. Don't let someone use your ability, your capacity, your location to advantage them without making sure you're advantaged. So nope, both parties don't have to be, but that needs to be based on the project and the opportunity as you see it. A joint venture at the end of the day, it's not about the county. It needs to work for the two businesses who have connected. That was my meaning in terms of doing some joint ventures.
Thank you. And our last question is from Dr. Mary Leonce. At what point in time do we give a capability statement to someone?
So at what point in time do we give a capability statement at someone? I would have to say this. With everything that we mentioned about social networks and your platforms and your website and making sure your capability is visible and available, you give your capability statement to someone as soon as you can. The reason I say that is because you don't know when the second or the third opportunity, if there's a second or third opportunity, presents itself. If you have this opportunity to dialogue and you're running your pitch and you're sharing your information, before that person leaves, certainly you would love to give them a capability statement. If you're meeting them, and again, back in the day when we did our group meet and greets, and you know there's 8 other electrical engineers behind you, and this prime contractor is looking to work with 1 or 2 of you, and you are afforded that 90-second or that 3-minute pitch, after you really sell them on how you can advantage them, and that's the key, how you can advantage them, you certainly want to leave them with that capability statement. I don't think it's a wrong or a right time, but I do believe that I have to take advantage of disseminating my capability statement whenever I have a chance to meet someone who I want them to remember who I am. So if I am afforded that chance to have this chit chat, at the ending of this chit chat, I want to present them with this. If I'm having that opportunity to have this phone conversation or one of these virtual meetings and I'm talking about who I am and what I can do, I want to remind them that they can go to my website and the first thing they're going to see is my capability statement. I think you offer that as soon as you can to begin to create in their mind your credibility, your ability to deliver. So I would say as soon as you can, inclusive of the first time you can.
And we have one new additional question, Mr. McDonald, from Jeff Mullen. Do you really call out to us as SBEs if we match on a possible project, or do we need to add ourselves on each bid on BidSync that we may be able to add value to?
Both. We actually call out. So I want to be real clear. Remember what we said about the SBE, the shelter market. You're getting an email, phone call, or both. We have to do that to make sure I can even determine that I have the two. So keep in mind, that's different than the CBE. If you're talking about my shelter market, yes, we email or call out. And what's the differentiation? I tell staff in my directory, if it's 10 or less, call. We ain't got time to call 25 or 30. But if I got 10 or less in the directory based on what an agency is trying to buy, we call. If I got more than 10, we email. But you got to remember, we have to start the process that way just so I can even reserve it. But from your end, 2 time is golden. If I'm calling and checking with you, you always want to be a part of the procurement process. You always want to notify someone when you're available. You always want to keep your information up to date so that at the end of the day, don't get it twisted. You get the notification from the BidSync once it hits the street. But remember, we're a part of sharing what the county's looking to buy when we do the email and when we make the call. So yes, we actually do make the email, or send the email or make the call. And yes, you need to certainly respond if you ever get a direct bid. Both need to actually happen.
Thank you, Mr. McDonald. That concludes our Q&A.
So again, this is the certified Now What. This presentation will be placed on our website for you to review it, fast, slow, whatever parts you like and don't like. But substantively, we're rolling into that period, folks, that I really do hope you all are being safe. I hope your family's safe. I hope you and your business and your employees are safe. I hope you're able to sustain and ride this economic wave. We understand it. But if you are with us, if you still have a chance to sustain and be a part of us, if you recognize the county is still buying, if you now recognize surtax is still in effect, remember, we collected the money last year from surtax, and it was a good sales tax year in Florida. We collected the money last year that we now have to spend. So there's real projects from the counties and the cities relevant to surtax that's getting ready to hit the street. Again, I know it's not for every single industry. I get it. I'm even going to be doing a workshop later in August to try to find ways to make sure my professional services, those program management, that architect and engineers start to meet some more of my primes so we can cultivate better relationships. There's so much that we're doing. You certainly have to find out as a business where this fits you. But right now, based on those projects we listed, those activities, they're getting ready to come out. This session was about Certified Now What? It's about putting yourself in position that when these bids do hit the street, including the surtax bids from the cities, you're able to participate. So this is about preparing yourself and reminding you that there's much more you're going to hear from our office, much more in terms of virtual meet and greets, much more in terms of virtual introduction of upcoming county projects, and much more where you have to begin to connect the dot by looking at what's in our newsletter, look at what we said is getting ready to come out, begin then to identify where your opportunities might be, and follow that procurement process and get net gain. So again, thank you for participating in this Certified Now What? Certainly, again, down the road, check this out on our website. And I need all of you to stay safe, stay around, and again, thank you for participating in Broward County Small Business. It's not enough just to get certified. I need you to get certified, engage the process, win some contracts, grow your business, and grow Broward County's economy. Thank you, and have a good day.